The blast should have ended Staff Sergeant Maya "Ghost" Carter. Instead, she fought her way out of the burning wreckage, eyes stinging with blood, her heart burning for revenge. What followed became a legendary tale among elite shooters worldwide, the longest confirmed precision shot in modern combat history. It was made by a woman everyone had believed was dead. Meet Maya Carter, just 26 years old. Her auburn hair, usually in a tight braid, framed steel gray eyes that could calculate wind's path over 2 miles without any special sight. For a year and a half she had been Alpha Squad's expert marksman, part of the 82nd Airborne. Yet, to most of the men on her team, she was simply the girl who could shoot well. They respected her ability, but they never truly saw her as their equal. That was about to change in the most dramatic way imaginable. Maya's father, Master Sergeant David Longshot Carter, had been one of the Army's top snipers. A hidden explosive device took his life in Afghanistan when Maya was 19. Every weekend of her childhood, he had taken her to remote shooting ranges. There he taught her everything about perfect shooting: how to breathe, how bullets fly, how to read the wind, and most importantly, the mental strength needed to take a life from incredible distances. "A sniper isn't just someone who can shoot straight, baby girl," he would tell her as they practiced at dawn. "A sniper is someone who can wait without moving for half a day, then fire one shot that changes everything. Most people can't handle that kind of burden, but you have the patience of a rock and the eyes of an eagle." Maya's childhood was far from ordinary. While other girls her age played with toys, she was learning how bullets would curve. By age 12, she could take apart and put together any military rifle blindfolded. At 14, she was hitting targets reliably a kilometer away with her father's custom Pot 308 rifle. Her high school classmates never knew the quiet girl in their science class could outshoot most police sharpshooters. Her training wasn't just about firing a weapon. Her father taught her patience through hours of observation drills, where she lay perfectly still in hidden spots, watching for specific targets. He taught her outdoor survival skills through camping trips that were actually advanced spy training. Most importantly, he taught her the mental side of precision shooting: how to stay calm under intense pressure, how to make life-or-death decisions in a flash, and how to live with having taken a human life. "The hardest part isn't making the shot, Maya," he would explain during their evening talks about right and wrong in war. "The hardest part is knowing when to take it, and then being able to sleep at night afterward. A true sniper saves lives by taking lives. That's a heavy weight, needing amazing mental strength." After he died, Maya joined the military with one goal: to honor his memory by becoming the greatest sniper the Army had ever seen. But military rules and old ways of thinking had other plans. Even though she got perfect scores in sniper school and beat every male student in her class, she was sent to regular foot soldier units. She was treated as extra firepower, not a true precision shooter. Her performance in advanced shooting classes had been truly remarkable. She earned the highest scores ever in the Army's shooting unit, setting new records for accuracy over long distances. Her teachers suggested she immediately join Special Forces team, but these suggestions were always blocked by higher-ranking officers who believed that frontline sniper jobs should only go to men. "Carter has the skills," one colonel wrote in her review, "but lacks the physical presence and mental toughness needed for long combat missions in dangerous areas." Maya saw the irony clearly. The very mental toughness these officers doubted was exactly what her father had spent years building in her. She had the mental strength to lie still in a hidden spot for 16 hours. She had the control to make perfect shots under extreme stress. And she had the tactical smarts to plan complex, sneaky approaches through enemy territory. Her current assignment with Alpha Squad was supposed to be different. Captain Marcus Webb, the squad leader, had specifically asked for an expert marksman for their dangerous missions in the mountains of Afghanistan. But even Webb, who respected her abilities, still saw her as backup, not the main sniper support. "Carter is good," he would tell other officers, "but when things get really bad, you want someone physically tougher making the long shots." Maya silently put up with the quiet put-downs and condescending remarks, knowing that eventually her skills would speak louder than their narrow-mindedness. She just never imagined the chance to prove herself would come at such a terrible price. The weeks leading up to the mission had been especially tough. Spy reports showed more enemy activity in their area, with clever ambush tactics used against friendly forces. Maya had studied enemy sniper patterns and found several likely spots where enemy sharpshooters might hide. She had prepared detailed maps and wind charts for many possible combat situations. This work largely went unnoticed by her squad mates, who thought her preparation was over the top. "You worry too much, Carter," Sergeant Vasquez had told her the night before the mission. "It's just a look-see. We'll be in and out before anyone knows we're there." But Maya's father had taught her that the most dangerous missions often seemed simple. "Being too relaxed kills more soldiers than enemy bullets," he used to say. "When everyone else is at ease, that's when you need to be most aware." The mission began as a routine patrol. Reports suggested enemy movement in the Hindu Kush Mountains, and Alpha Squad was tasked with confirming enemy positions and calling in air support if needed. 9 soldiers, including Maya, were dropped by helicopter at dawn onto a rocky ridge overlooking the valley. Captain Webb placed the squad in a defensive line among the large rocks, with Maya taking a high observation spot about 50 meters up the slope with her precision rifle. The plan was simple: watch, report, and leave. No direct fighting unless absolutely necessary. For 6 hours they watched enemy fighters moving supplies through the valley below. Maya counted at least 30 enemy combatants, all heavily armed, some carrying what looked like advanced weapons. Through her scope she could clearly see faces 800 meters away, close enough for perfect shot, but orders were to stay hidden and just gather information. "Ghost, seeing what I'm seeing down there," Webb's voice crackled through her radio. "Confirmed, Captain. Many enemy fighters, about 30, moving supplies northeast toward a suspected weapons hiding spot. I have clear shots on key targets if needed." "Negative, Ghost. Just keep watching. We're here to observe, not fight." Maya settled into her hiding place, using natural camouflage and the patient observation skills her father had taught her. Hours passed. The sun rose higher, making heat waves distort her scope's view, but she remained still, tracking enemy movement and updating the squad on position. Other members of Alpha Squad included Sergeant First Class Antonio Vasquez, the team's explosives expert, who had served 3 tours and treated Maya like a younger sister. Staff Sergeant Kyle Morrison, a former elite soldier who grudgingly respected her shooting but still joked about women in combat. Corporal Jake Patterson, a medic who was glad to have someone watching his back during dangerous rescue missions. Specialist Ryan Chen, a communications expert who relied on Maya's lookout during radio operations. Private First Class Tyler Brooks, a young soldier on his first deployment who looked up to Maya as a mentor. Specialist Mike Rodriguez, a machine gunner who had at first doubted female soldiers but had grown to trust Maya's tactical judgment. And Corporal Sam Johnson, a demolition expert who had seen Maya's precise shooting save lives on past missions. Each of these men had their own story, their own reasons for serving, and their own relationships with Maya, which had developed over months of shared operations. Vasquez, the oldest at 32, had taken on a protective big brother role, often stopping rude comments from other soldiers. Morrison, despite his jokes, secretly admired Maya's dedication and had suggested her for advanced training many times. Patterson, the medic, had worked with Maya on several wounded evacuations and fully trusted her to provide accurate cover fire during dangerous medical tasks. Brooks, barely 20, represented the new generation of soldiers who had grown up with female combat veterans and saw Maya's presence as normal, not unusual. Chen valued Maya's sharp mind and tactical awareness, often asking her about communication plans and rescue procedure. Rodriguez had initially been one of Maya's biggest critics, but became one of her strongest supporters after seeing her performance under fire. Johnson, a calm professional with 8 years of service, valued Maya's constant reliability and exact shooting skill. That's when everything changed for the worse. At 1:47 p.m. Maya noticed something that sent a chill through her. 3 enemy fighters were moving up the ridge toward Alpha Squad's location, carrying what looked like a remote-controlled explosive device. The larger group in the valley had been a distraction. The real danger was climbing directly toward her teammates. "Captain, you have 3 hostiles approaching your rear, about 200 meters and closing. They seem to have bomb equipment." "Confirmed, Ghost. We see them moving to a new spot." But it was too late. The enemy had planned this perfectly. As Alpha Squad tried to move, Maya heard the distinct whistle of incoming mortar shells. The first explosion hit 50 meters from her, showering her with rocks and dirt. The second landed right in the middle of her squad. The blast was terrible. Through her scope, Maya watched in horror as the explosion swallowed the area where her 8 teammates had been. Smoke and dust hid everything. Other explosions from ammunition blowing up created a hellish scene of fire and ruin. Alpha Squad, report. Captain Webb, come in. Maya's radio calls met only static and the echo of her own voice across the mountainside. The silence that followed was deafening. Maya's training automatically took over. But for a moment, the raw emotion threatened to stop her clear thinking. These weren't just squad mates. They were friends, brothers, men who had eaten with her, who had trusted her to protect them, who had slowly come to accept her as an equal part of their military family. Have you ever stood by helplessly as people you cared about vanished in smoke and flames? Maya's world shattered in that moment, but her deep training instantly took hold. Enemy fighters were already moving up the slope toward the blast site, likely to confirm kills and search for survivors. Maya had two choices: retreat to the pickup point and report her squad as lost, or stay and fight against impossible odds. She chose to fight, but first, she had to survive the immediate danger. Mortar rounds were still falling near her position, and enemy rifle fire was getting closer. A piece of the blast had cut a gash across her forehead, sending blood into her eyes. Her left shoulder ached from hitting a rock, but she could still use her rifle. Moving with the silent skill her father had taught her, Maya slipped away from her original spot and began working her way around the ridge to a new, better vantage point. If any of her squad had survived the explosion, they would be trapped in the kill zone, with enemies closing in from many directions. Through her scope, she saw movement in the smoke and wreckage where Alpha Squad had been. At first, she thought it might be enemy fighters searching the area. Then she heard something that changed everything. The special whistle code Captain Webb used for emergency regrouping. Survivors. At least some of her teammates were alive, but they were stuck in the blast crater, with enemies approaching from 3 sides. Maya pressed her radio button. Any station. This is Ghost. If anyone can hear this, give me your position. Static. Then a weak voice. Ghost. This is Webb. We're in deep trouble. 4 wounded. Can't move. Hostiles closing from all sides. Where are you, Captain? I'm about 300 meters northwest of your position. How many can still move? 3 of us can still fight, but Johnson's legs are badly hurt, and Rodriguez took shrapnel to the chest. Chen's unconscious, but breathing. Vasquez and Morrison can move, but they're low on ammunition. Patterson's trying to keep the wounded alive, but we need to get out now. Maya looked at the situation through her scope. The blast had created a natural defensive spot, a crater surrounded by large rocks that offered some cover. But enemy fighters were steadily moving closer, using covering fire to advance in coordinated rushes. Her trapped teammates probably had only 10 minutes before they were overrun. The rescue helicopter wasn't due for another 2 hours, and calling for an emergency pickup would take at least 30 minutes. Her squad didn't have 30 minutes. That's when Maya noticed something that made her heart race with both hope and dread. About 3,200 meters to the southeast, on a ridgeline that offered a perfect view of the entire valley, she could see the flashes from the enemy sniper's rifle. This sniper had been directing the attack on her squad. 3,200 meters, roughly 2 miles, in perfect conditions, with a target standing still that would be a challenge for any sniper. In combat, with wind, heat waves, and a moving target, it was almost impossible. But Maya Carter wasn't just any sniper. She was David Longshot Carter's daughter. Captain, I need you to hold that position for 15 minutes. I'm going to take out their high ground threat. Negative. Ghost. There are too many of them. Fall back to the pickup point and call for help. Sir, if I don't take out their sniper, he'll direct fire on any helicopter that tries to reach you. This is our only option. Maya was already moving, using the landscape to hide her approach as she made her way to the best shooting spot. Every step was carefully chosen, every movement designed to keep her hidden while getting closer to her target. Finding the right shooting position took 12 precious minutes. She needed height, a clear line of sight, and natural wind protection. Finally, she found it. A rocky outcrop that gave her a perfect view of the enemy sniper while keeping her hidden from the fighters below. Setting up for the shot demanded everything her father had taught her about extreme long-range precision. Distance, 3,247 meters, according to her laser rangefinder. Wind, changing, blowing 8 to 12 miles per hour from the northwest, with warm air rising from the valley floor. Target, moving but following predictable paths as he adjusted position to direct fire on her trap squad. Maya adjusted her rifle scope for the incredible distance, calculating how much the bullet would drop, how much the wind would push it, and even the Earth's own spin. At this range, even the Coriolis effect would affect the bullet's path. That's all she would get before giving away her position to every enemy in the valley. Through her scope, she saw the enemy sniper clearly, a bearded man in camouflage gear, likely their best shooter, methodically firing at targets in her squad's position. As she watched, he fired again, and she heard Captain Webb scream over the radio, "Johnson's hit again, we need that sniper down now." Maya could hear the desperation in her captain's voice. Johnson, the young demolition expert who had always treated her with respect, was bleeding out in that crater. Vasquez, who called her little sister, was probably using his own body to shield the wounded. Morrison, despite his jokes about women in combat, had saved her life twice on previous missions. Maya controlled her breathing, feeling her heart rate slow to the steady rhythm her father had trained into her. The aiming crosshairs settled on the enemy sniper's chest. She breathed out half her breath and held it, her finger gently squeezing the trigger. "When everything depends on one shot, baby girl," her father's voice whispered in her memory. "Trust your training and let the rifle do what it was made to do." Her precision rifle fired. For what felt like forever, Maya watched the bullet's invisible flight through her scope. At such extreme range, there's always a moment of doubt. Did the shot connect, or did physics and chance send it off course? Then she saw him fall. The longest confirmed sniper kill in modern warfare history, made by a woman who was supposed to be dead, to save teammates who thought she was just extra firepower. But Maya wasn't finished. With their high ground threat gone, the enemy fighters below began to lose order. She saw confusion in their movements, as they tried to find the source of the shot that had just eliminated their best asset. Moving to a new position to avoid enemy sniper fire, Maya began systematically taking out the fighters closest to her trap squad. One shot, one kill. Another position change, another perfect shot. She was no longer Staff Sergeant Carter providing backup fire. She was Ghost, the unseen hunter her father had trained her to become. "Ghost, whatever you're doing, keep doing it." Webb's voice carried relief and amazement. "Hostiles are pulling back from our position." "Copy, Captain. Keep your defensive stance. I'm clearing your escape route." For the next 20 minutes, Maya fought a one-woman war against an entire enemy force, using smart positioning, perfect shooting, and movement techniques that made her practically invisible. She eliminated 17 enemy fighters. She forced the rest to retreat to spots where they couldn't threaten her squad. Each shot was precise, each movement planned, each decision made with the cold accuracy her father had taught her. She wasn't just shooting targets. She was carefully dismantling an enemy force that had trapped her friend. The heavy emotion of seeing her squad almost destroyed had turned into sharp, deadly focus. When the rescue helicopter finally arrived, it found Alpha Squad alive in their defensive spot, and Maya Carter was calmly watching over them from a ridge that should have been impossible to reach without being seen. Captain Webb later wrote in his official report, "Staff Sergeant Carter's actions were not only heroic, but tactically brilliant beyond anything I've witnessed in 15 years of combat." Her precise shooting and expert movement single-handedly turned certain death into a successful rescue. But the moment that truly defined everything happened as the helicopter took off. Captain Webb looked at Maya, his face showing a mix of thankfulness, respect, and something close to wonder. "Carter, that shot you made, what was the distance?" 3,000. The helicopter fell silent except for the noise of its blades. Every soldier aboard understood they had just witnessed something that would become a legend. "How the hell did you learn to shoot like that?" Maya touched the small photo of her father that she kept in her chest pocket. "From the best sniper who ever lived, sir. He had always said she'd know when the moment came to prove herself." Sergeant Vasquez, his arm in a sling, but alive, looked at Maya with a new understanding. "You saved our lives, Hermana. Every single one of." Morrison, the former elite soldier who had made countless jokes about women in combat, simply nodded and said, "I'll never doubt a female soldier again. What you did out there, that was pure warrior." Patterson, the medic who had kept the wounded alive during the firefight, added, "I've seen a lot of heroes in my time, Carter. What you did today puts you at the top of that list." Brooks, the young soldier who had looked up to Maya as a mentor, said quietly, "I want to learn to shoot like that. Will you teach me?" Chen, still weak from his injuries, but awake, managed a smile. "Next time someone questions whether women belong in combat, I'm going to tell them about Ghost Carter and her 3,247-meter shot." 6 months later, Maya Carter graduated from the Army's Advanced Sniper course with the highest scores ever recorded. Her 3,247-meter shot became a famous lesson taught to special operations snipers worldwide. But more importantly, she never again heard anyone call her just extra firepower. The Army created a new role for her, Chief Instructor of Advanced Marksmanship, a position never before held by a woman. Maya used this role to train the next generation of snipers, both male and female, making sure that skill and accuracy would always matter more than assumptions and unfair judgments. Have you ever had to prove not just your abilities but your right to be taken seriously? Maya's story reminds us that sometimes the most dangerous assumptions are the ones we make about the quiet, skilled person in the corner. The explosion that was supposed to kill her instead showed what she truly was. Not just a good soldier, not just a capable shooter, but one of the deadliest precision marksmen in military history. Her father would have been so proud. Today, Sergeant Major Maya Ghost Carter leads the Army's best sniper training program. On her office wall hangs a photo from that fateful day in Afghanistan, with a simple note, 3,247 ms, when one impossible shot changed everything. And every morning she begins her classes the same way her father started hers. A sniper isn't just someone who can shoot straight. A sniper is someone who can make one shot that changes everything. Today we're going to find out who among you has that kind of precision under pressure. Maya Carter didn't just survive that explosion. She emerged from it as the sniper she was always meant to be. Sometimes our greatest moments come hidden as our worst disaster.